What up? It's the real Keys. Any other a fabrication of your imagination. And Universal Debates presents Real Random Versus Discussions. Here we discuss versus battles that you wouldn't normally think of instead of the same old recycled fights that you see every day. And I want to introduce y'all to my new bounty system. Basically, every character gets their own number based on AP, their own grade based on their hex, and a color poster based on their threat level. Their bounty will also get a bonus based off of their grade. Their grade starts at not available to E all the way to X, with X being the highest. There will also be pluses and minuses. And for their attack potency, it starts at street tier all the way to planetary, because if you go any higher, the number value will be an extremely large number. Now let me tell you the values for the bounty. For street tier, it's 50,000 to 100,000. For wall, it's 100,000 to 500,000. For building, 500,000 to 2 million. For city block, it's 2 million to 10 million. For town, it's 10 million to 50 million. For city, it's 50 million to 150 million. For mountain, 150 million to 250 million. For island, 250 million to 700 million. For country, 700 million to 1 billion. For continent, 1 billion to 25 billion. For moon, 25 billion to 250 billion. For planet, 250 billion to 20 trillion. And for their grade and bounty bonus, for an E, you get 500. For D minus, 1,000. For D, 2,000. For D plus, 4,000. C minus, 8,000. C, 16,000. C plus, 32,000. B minus, 64,000. B, 128,000. B plus, 256,000. A minus, 512,000. A, 1,024,000. A plus, 2,048,000. S minus, 4,096,000. S, 8,192,000. S plus, 16,384,000. And X, 32,768,000. These numbers are multiplied by 2 starting from 500. Now let me go into more detail about their threat level. The way that their threat level works is all a mix between their hex and their bounty. The better the hex, the higher the threat level. They won't have plus and minus, and each threat is a different color. For characters with no hex, they would just have no ability. For E, they would be considered not dangerous. D, don't underestimate. C, proceed with caution. B, fraught with danger. A, don't face alone. S, cataclysmic danger. X, danger to reality. Now let me tell you where each hex is graded. For E, which is not dangerous, we have enhanced senses, extrasensory sense, paper manipulation, elasticity, flight, camouflage, and telepathy. Basically hex that don't really do too much damage. For D, which is don't underestimate, we have extra limbs, bodily weaponry, adhesive cloth, chi, thread manipulation, clairvoyance, information analysis, invisibility, mind reading, immortality, and summoning. Hex that could help in a fight but aren't too dangerous. For C, proceed with caution, we have animal and elemental manipulation, duplication, paralysis inducement, precognition, stat boost, reduction, aura, absorption, summoning, creation, and immortality. With these hex, they are dangerous, but they're not the most dangerous. For B, fraught with danger, we have nature, empathic, memory, poison, sleep, temperature manipulation, energy projection, damage boost, damage reduction, dimensional storage, force field creation, healing, hypnosis, necromancy, teleportation, creation, weapon control, absorption, summoning, and immortality. With these hex, someone can do major damage, but it's still not the tippity top of the hex ability. For A, don't face alone, we have absorption, adaptation, attack reflection, biological, density, disease, energy, organic, size, sound manipulation, body puppetry, durability negation, incorporeality, intangibility, invulnerability, mind control, petrification, possession, power mimicry, resurrection, summoning, supernatural luck, telekinesis, timing, acceleration, deceleration, skip, and transmutation. These are hacks that you don't really see too often, and they can do major damage. On top of that, they are very hard to counter. For S, cataclysmic danger, we have age, death, gravity, magnetism, matter, perception, pocket reality, soul, spatial, vibration manipulation, corrosion inducement, deconstruction, creation, damage transferal, immortality, power nullification, subjective reality, and time reversal, erasure, and slow. These abilities are top tier and very hard to counter. Now time for the best of the best God tier abilities. For X, danger to reality, you have BFR, causality, concept, fate, law, plot, probability, vector, void manipulation, reality warping, fate manipulation, existence erasure, time stop, tune force, and immortality. In a nutshell, the only way to really counter these abilities is having one of these abilities yourself. It's time to talk about the most complicated part, how they get plus and minuses. If a character has 3 hex in one tier, that means they will go up tiers. And if their higher tier hex isn't as prominent as their low tier, it becomes a minus. If they have 3 hex in a specific tier, that becomes a plus. If they have hex in multiple tiers and none of them have one in a higher tier, it goes to another letter and becomes a minus. Let's do an example. Let's say character A has 3 hex in B tier and 1 hex in A tier, so that would become a A minus. Character B has 3 hex in the A tier. This would give him a A plus. Let's say character C has 3 hex in B, 3 hex in C, and 3 hex in D. This will all go up to A minus. If a character has multiple hex in multiple tiers, then the tier with the most hex is where they will be placed for their grade and threat level. Well, that pretty much essentially wraps up how the bounty system works. For more content, like, share, and subscribe, and follow Universal Debates on Facebook.